They must be gorgeous.
That started the whole thing off.
REA was the one available, show and tell master, meister, whatever. In the accustomed manner, we will start on the left side.
Image collecting topic today. I thought, well, since I obviously am an image collector, I better say something. So, and bring a show and tell. I run Project Save Armenian Photograph Archives, and I've been doing it for 30-some years. And when I started collecting, I figured the best way to start was with my own family, and to set up my policies and get them to, let me borrow their photographs, and which I consider my photographs also, my aunts and uncles and my cousins. And one of my uncles, well, the wife of one of my uncles didn't want to let me borrow the originals. She wanted to make copies and give me the copies. I said, no, in archives it's about original material, please let me borrow the originals. And she was hesitant, so I said, well, let me borrow 3, and then you'll see that I'll do my work and I'll return them, and then maybe you'll give me some more. So that's basically how I built up the trust. But with this one auntie, so the auntie is my father's sister-in-law. His brother obviously had my family photographs, but I didn't really see any of them until he had moved twice in my adulthood, and I only saw these after he died. And of course they didn't exist before he died because they were up in the attic or the basement in cartons, and the family didn't know where they were. And so after he died, my auntie said, well, come on over, I have some things for you. And they were these family photographs, and I was BS that, during his lifetime I couldn't talk to him about them, but luckily he put some notes on here, and they start back, well, this one says 1912. The wonderful thing is that there's a photographer's name here, and I've traced this photographer. The address is in South Boston, but I know that he moved to Fresno, California around 1918, so for a short period he was in the Boston area. So this is supposed to be 1912. This is my grandmother, and her name was Mariam, and this is my grandfather. This says on the back side 1913, but I'm not so sure that it's not. Why would one be 12 and one be 13? I'm not so sure. But same photographer, outside their home in Watertown, which means to me that this guy traveled with his camera from South Boston to Watertown and maybe didn't have a lot of flash equipment to take something inside, so he took it outside in the yard, which is a nice landscape. And they took a chair out of the house and put it outside. And then you have them both together. This one on the back side says 1918, and it also says during influenza epidemic, which they don't quite look like they're suffering health-wise, but this is 1918, and these are 6 years before, and my grandparents look a lot older here. I find it interesting. I think they look 20 years older here than they do in these. It says something about how we aged then.
This is a digital stereo pair, and it's called StereoData Maker. And the software to do this twinning here is available for free on the internet. And they're now, this project has just taken off from a single post last summer. There are now like 280 members of the, where you write, exchange letters. And there's probably like 100 people worldwide building these rigs now. And they all have various problems, and they talk about it. So I couldn't stay out of that. These cameras are pretty good Canon point-and-shoots, $150 each. And they have a full range of settings here, priorities and things. And what you do is you pretend to upgrade the firmware. There's a position on the main menu for upgrading the firmware, but instead of sliding in Canon's upgrade, you slide in StereoData Maker software, and it takes over the camera. And it adds all kinds of features.
Virus, huh?
Yeah, like a virus. can't see it, but there are little menus there. There's like 8, 10 lines of menu, and it gives all the focus parameters, like the hyperfocal distance, the far point, the near point, whether you can mount it stereo or not. And then there's a histogram, and your choice of 9 flavors of histogram. And it does things like time-lapse videos, and focus bracketing, where you take 50 pictures at different focus settings, and then you stitch them together with some free software. Now, the way you take a pair of sync pictures is that you have to get in the alternate mode. There you are. I don't know what's going on here. I probably won't be able to do this. Get in the alternate mode. That's this one. There we are. And then you start the macro, it's a tight little loop of 3 instructions, and it's going around and around, waiting for your finger. And when you hit this, the blue light comes on and the screen blanks, and the same thing happens here. And then when you release it, they go off together within a 20,000th of a second. It's very good sync. So I had a lot of fun building this, and there are other models out there. They've hacked 30-some models of these, and you can download the specific firmware for each model.
Take a look at it. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit. So.